Hello my dear students, welcome to the video. This video is going to be about a dramatist who single-handedly brought about a revolution in the way drama was perceived and written throughout the world. Yes, we are going to be talking about Henrik Ibsen, the Norwegian playwright who was not just a playwright but also a poet and a theatre manager. This video has been divided into two parts. So in the first part of my video, I'll be talking about Henrik Ibsen, and in the second part of the video, I'll be talking about modern drama. So Henrik Ibsen was a Norwegian. He was born in the year 1828 in the city of Skien in Norway, and he belonged to a very well-to-do family. But when he was 8 years old, his father went bankrupt and they had to shift to a lesser fancy house in the neighborhood. When he was 15 years of age, he shifted to the city of Grimstad and he became an apprentice to an apothecary. So he he planned to be a pharmacist and he became an apprentice to a chemist or an apothecary. But while he was studying to be a pharmacist, he developed a great interest in poetry and theology. He studied these subjects a lot and he got interested in the Latin writers also. He studied Cicero and he was greatly influenced by these Latin writers. So from Grimstad, he moved to the city of Christiania. Now, Christiania is the city which is today known by the name of Oslo, which is the capital city of Norway. So he moved to Christiania because he wanted to go to the university as a student, and he got himself enrolled in something called a student's factory. Now these student factories, they used to be typical institutions, the way we have coaching centers in present day world, which prepare you for admission into better institutions. So he enrolled himself into a student's factory and he prepared for the university, but unfortunately he could not clear the entrance exams of the universities and he did not get any admission in any of the universities. So he dropped that idea and then he moved on to pursue his dream of becoming a writer. So he started writing his first play, and his first play came out when he was in the year 1850. The play was called Catiline. Now this play was never staged and it was not a very successful play. This play with readers also, it did not become very popular. And the second play that he wrote was called The Burial Mound. This was the first play that was staged, written by Ibsen, the play that was staged. This was the first play. And again, it was a commercial disaster. But Ibsen very desperately wanted to be a writer and he kept on writing. Now he was invited by Ole Bull to become the manager of the Bergen Theatre. Now this was a time of nationalistic awakening in Norway because Norway had got itself freed from the Dutch influence, from the Dutch rule after 400 years of Dutch rule. So there was this nationalistic awakening, and Bergen Theatre was a theatre which the aim of this theatre was to revive the glorious past of the Norway theatrical traditions. So Ibsen was appointed as a manager there, and his job was to look after the staging of plays. So as a manager of this theatre, he was responsible for the staging of more than 150 plays, and with this he was allowed to produce one original play per year. He was allowed to have a staging of one of his plays once a year. So it gave him a platform that he was looking for. It gave him a platform for the staging of his plays. But unfortunately, all the plays that he wrote during this time, they were commercial failures. Commercial failures, and they were not very popular with the readers as well. So Ibsen was looking for financial stability. His financial condition was not very stable, and he was granted a very small amount of travel grant by the government of Norway, and he used that grant and he shifted to Italy. Sorrento in Italy is the place where he went, and he remained in self-imposed exile for the next 27 years. So in the year 1864, he shifted to Italy, and this was the beginning of commercial success for himself as a writer. So 1865, his famous play Brand came out. 1867, Peer Gynt came out, and Peer Gynt was the play for which he received a decoration from the King of Norway. So it was, after 1864, he established himself as a dramatist, as a theatre writer. And he went on writing, but after he shifted to Italy, his life was more or less stable. He was financially stable, and he was writing one play every 2 years. So his life after this point in time, his life is more or less uneventful, and he devoted himself completely to the task of writing dramas. Now, Ibsen as a dramatist, we can divide his whole dramatic career into 4 periods. And the first period is the period of his dramatic failures. The initial period when he wrote dramas, and those dramas were not very successful. So he wrote Catiline, then he wrote the Burial Mound, then St. John's Eve, and some other plays which are not read today, which are not performed today, and nobody is really interested in reading those plays, because Ibsen's reputation as a dramatist rests on other plays. Now, the second phase of his career as a dramatist, it is of those epic plays, epic dramas that he wrote. So it is the phase of late 1860s and early 1870s when he wrote Peer Gynt and Brand. These were 2 poetic dramas that he wrote, and after Peer Gynt, he did not write any poetic drama. So this is the phase where he wrote dramas which were people with a lot of characters, and there was so much of action taking place in those plays. And then the third period of his writing is the period of sociological dramas. We call them sociological dramas, but Ibsen did not like them to be called sociological dramas, but we do call them sociological dramas, and it is the period late 1870s and early 1880s. So the Pillars of Society, A Doll's House, these are the plays that he wrote, while Ghosts. So these are the plays which fall under this category of sociological dramas. And the last 8 plays, beginning from The Wild Duck, they are the greatest plays that he ever wrote. These dramas are not sociological, these dramas are not epic dramas. They are more about the interiors of human psyche. They are more about what goes inside of a human being rather than what happens outside. So these are the greatest of the plays, and which bewildered even his critics and even his admirers to a great degree. So these are the plays: The Wild Duck, Rosmer's Home, Hedda Gabler, The Master Builder, When We Dead Awaken. So these are those plays which form the last part, the last phase of his career as a dramatist. And when we think of Ibsen, we think of modern drama. So Ibsen is said to be the father of modern drama. But when we say that Ibsen is a father of modern drama, then we have to relate it to the other dramas also, which were being written before Ibsen. So Ibsen's plays, Ibsen is said to be a feminist writer after A Doll's House. Ibsen is said to be a writer about social problems. But Ibsen himself did not like these labels. He wanted himself to be known as a champion of human freedom, not just women's freedom or men's freedom. He wanted himself to be known as a champion of human freedom. And he said that each individual has this responsibility towards himself. He should work towards the freedom of his own self. So this freedom could be not just the physical freedom, the mental freedom is what he talks about. And his dramas are the dramas of ideas. So he is the one who is a pioneer in this field of the drama of ideas. So when we say modern drama, we have to understand is as opposed to the kind of plays that were being written before it, and the difference between the two. So Ibsen, not Ibsen, but when we think of modern drama, we think of well-made plays. Well-made plays is what preceded modern drama. So modern drama can be understood very easily when we put it against well-made plays. It gives a contrast, it gives a reference to us. Now, Ibsen wrote plays at a time when drama was not a very popular form of writing. Ibsen wrote at a time when poetry and novel were the popular genres of writing. And he chose this craft of writing dramas, and he changed it completely. He changed the whole social perception. He changed the perception of readers towards this art form called drama. So Ibsen did not follow the traditions of the well-made plays. He followed the traditions in the sense that his dramas were very well structured, but he did not follow the kind of formulaic subject matter, the kind of formulaic plot structure and the formulaic content that well-made plays were serving to their audiences. So as it is believed that after 1770s, not very good quality dramas which were of a very great literary quality, they were not being written. So drama was an art form which catered to the popular taste. During the early years of the 19th century, drama was an art form which catered to the popular masses. So the well-made plays of Eugene Scribe, these were the plays which followed a particular structure, which followed a particular formula for their success. So Eugene Scribe was responsible. He collaborated in the writing of more than 400 dramas. Now he followed this tight plot structure, and there were these cliche plot ideas, subject matter that were followed. So the climax would be pushed towards the end. It would be a complete package as such, as a drama. So it would be catering to the popular taste. It would have all the elements of entertainment, but not very good literary value would be there in those plays. So against this kind of drama, Ibsen started writing his own plays. So his own plays, Ibsen's plays, they owe to well-made plays only so far as the structure is concerned. His plays were also very well structured, very tightly structured, and there was no loose ends to be found in Ibsen's plays. But apart from this, Ibsen's plays were completely different from well-made plays. So his characters were deep. Well-made plays, they have superficial, shallow characters, flat characters. But Ibsen's characters are deep. They are, a great psychological studies, almost all his characters, and particularly the characters that he created during the later years of his life. They are great psychological studies, and he anticipated many psychological principles that were to be popularized later by Freud and Jung. So his plays, they talk about human psyche. His plays talk about human predicament. They are tragedies, but not of an epic scale. Epic scale in the sense that they do not talk about kings and queens. They are tragedies which take place in the normal middle class drawing rooms of people, normal households of people. So he talks about common people, he talks about common masses, and he talks about the problems that they face every day in their lives. So the problems could be pertaining to society and individual. The problems could be pertaining to individual against other individual. So it is a different kind of drama. It is a drama which is realistic in nature, more realistic than the well-made plays, and it focuses on the social aspects, the political aspects, the economic aspects of living in a middle class world. So as father of modern drama, Ibsen was creating a drama that was more realistic, a drama that was about common people, a drama with which people could relate. When Ibsen started writing his plays in the year 1850, drama was almost a dead art. So far as literature is concerned, from the literary point of view, not very great plays were being written. But when he died in the year 1906, he left drama as one of the most respectable art forms. He created plays that stirred people from their slumber. He talked about such topics, he talked about such social issues which shocked people, which shocked not just the Norwegian society, it shocked the European society and it shocked the whole of the world. When he wrote A Doll's House, it is said that the slamming of the door at the end of the play, the slamming of the door was heard around the world. So Ibsen created these plays which promoted social dialogue, which promoted social debate. Though he did not want to be labeled as a social reformist, he was far from being a social reformist, but he was showing a mirror to society. He was talking about those issues which were either considered taboo or which were discussed only in the debating societies or in the conference of people. Ghost was a play which shocked many of his admirers also. So he shook people out of their slumber. He showed a mirror to society and he created a drama which was more about people, which was more about ideas, realistic things which were actually happening all around us in society, than talking about some far-fetched things. So he did not talk about kings and queens. Still, he created tragedies with which common human beings like you and me could relate with those tragedies. So this is Henrik Ibsen for you. In my next video, I will be talking about A Doll's House, which is one of the most famous play of Henrik Ibsen. So see you in the next video. Bye.